Hello folks, this is Dave. I'm doing VR here today for Mark at Mark's Dodgers Cards. And Mark has been on YouTube for a year now doing content and has asked for a VR. And so what I'm going to do is do a VR about my favorite team before the Seattle Mariners were my favorite team. And that is the Seattle Pilots. Seattle Pilots played exactly 1 year, in 1969, in a kind of rundown AAA stadium called Six Stadium. It was one of the better stadiums in the Pacific Coast League in its time, but over the years, just really wasn't quite up to snuff and certainly wasn't a major league stadium. The taxpayers had actually passed levy resolution to build a new stadium, which was the Kingdom, but that wasn't constructed and built or even designed by the time the Pilots came into being. The Pilots really planned to start playing in the 1971 season along with Kansas City Royals. However, Kansas City had lost their team, the Kansas City A's, who went to Oakland, and kind of started a little bit of a chain reaction. The White Sox had interest in perhaps moving to Seattle. That fell through. Cleveland did. And a few things were going on there. But the bottom line was the Pilots started about 2 years before they were really ready and hadn't got the backing needed to really fund the team properly at that point in time, and really didn't have a good field to play on it as of yet. So I'm going to show you a couple of cards here. This is the 1969 cards, and you can see this has the T-Shawns painted on hats, and some players you may recognize names here. But I'm not going to really show these. This isn't the year. Mostly, then toward the end of the year, they started showing maybe spring training uniforms in their series 6 and 7. But what I want to show you is the 1970 set of cards. These cards would have been the Pilots' second year in operation. However, at the end of the 1969 season, they were essentially bankrupt, didn't have money, and were really scrambling around. They actually got funded to go to spring training that year as the Seattle Pilots. A lot of legal stuff going on at the time, and they ended up taking their bankruptcy to court. And as they were leaving Arizona to head out to their home fields, hometowns, the equipment vans got to Provo, Utah, and stopped there and just waited to hear word if they were going to continue on to Seattle or whether they're going to make a right turn and go to Milwaukee, which is ultimately what happened. And they became the Milwaukee Brewers. So the cards you see here are really Milwaukee Brewers cards disguised as Seattle Pilot cards. In fact, the story's even told that when the Brewers started playing, they were playing in the old Pilots uniforms, and it peeled off some of the Pilots in Seattle's numerals and letters and so forth. You could still see the Seattle Pilots uniforms underneath the Brewer uniforms. Anyway, here are some of the cards there. Diego Segui was on the Pilots then, and interestingly enough, he was the opening day pitcher for the Seattle Mariners in 1977. Don Mincher, I believe, was the Pilots' representative in 1969 to the All-Star game. You can see here they actually had actual uniforms here from previous years. They had some of this, what do you call, the spaghetti or something on the hats, kind of make it look like a ship's pilot. And further on, Tommy Harper, good player for the Pilots. Not really anybody too notable here. Rich Rollins, I think, had played with Minnesota before he came to the Pilots, and the last cards, including the team card. So that is the 1970 Seattle Pilots / Milwaukee Brewers. And sometime I'll show you these cards. I teased these a while back on another video. There's 180 cards here that were put together by a graphic artist named Dave Burns, and so I'll show these sometime. They're all Seattle Pilot cards, and here you may recognize Jim Bouton, who played for the Pilots. And Jim Bouton is actually the author of this famous book, controversial at the time, where he kind of went and kind of told things that typically weren't made known to the public, and kind of the mischief and rabble rousing and so forth that went on in the clubhouse, but it wasn't well received within the baseball community itself. But over time, it's become a very famous book. The one thing I want to do now is I want to shout out some channels, and let me just show them here. First of all, there's Rob at Baseball Time Traveler, excellent channel, and you all should take a look at him. He will take an event in baseball history, put the background of the nation along with the event, then shows cards that support the event. The other one I want to shout out is Blix Cards. There's Ben over there. Ben does a great job, has a lot of interesting things. He collects vintage, SGC reveals, and so forth. Interesting channel. You ought to give him a sub. And the other one, surprise, he is not more well known, is White Sox fan card collector. Mitchell over there, he really has a great set of cards from pre-war era, the Diamond Stars, and various sets like that. So really like Mitchell's channel, and you all ought to give him a sub as well. And finally, I want to call out Stephen, Math Bowler 2782. I recently won a contest with Stephen. He's passed 1,000 subs, and I won the content creator giveaway, which he sent me a bunch of stuff, some cards, Pirates cards. He's a big Pirates fan, huge Steve Blass fan, and he gave me some cool vintage cards there. Paul Skeens rookie card, and some relic cards, one of Colt Ford, and the other of Gene Tierney, a starlet of the early days. And then aside from that, he just loaded me up with sleeves and top loaders and so forth, and also many more than this, slab stands, wooden slab stands. So thanks for that, Stephen. Appreciate that. Great channel. Go sub him. So that's it for my video. I appreciate you all stopping by. Congrats again, Mark, on 1 year on YouTube doing content. Appreciate you all stopping by and watching. You all come back now. Here.